first time in decades, the corporation has pleaded guilty to a worker's death in Travis County. So here's some video from last year after a grand jury indicted the construction company in the death of Juan Jose Galvan Batalla. And the 24-year-old died when the trench collapsed on top of him in South Travis County. This was back in 2021. The Travis County District Attorney's Office said Batalla and another man were sent back into the trench despite a partial collapse earlier in the day. Guerra Construction pleaded guilty to assault causing bodily injury and agreed to several conditions as part of their plea agreement, including implementing various safety training requirements and creating a process that allows employees to anonymously report safety concerns.
KXAN's Grace Reeder explains the Diocese of Austin is checking in on its Catholic schools and also asking its parishioners to lean into prayer.
2 young children are dead and more than a dozen others injured after a shooter opened fire at a Catholic school in Minneapolis Wednesday.
But how sad it is, for sure, not only for the families who are directly involved, but indeed for families everywhere who feel the threat that comes from an event, a tragedy like today's.
That includes families here in our area. The Diocese of Austin is asking its parishioners to pray for those impacted in the days and weeks to come.
Because it was a Catholic school, we feel a closeness with the folks at Annunciation School in Minneapolis. We have Catholic schools in our own diocese, and so there's a certain fraternity there, and so our hearts were broken.
The tragedy in Minneapolis happened during morning mass, and the 2 children who died were killed in the pews they were sitting in, according to police, a visual that hits close to home here.
Their safety is of the utmost importance, and so for our 19 Catholic schools, we've already been visiting with our school principals, our school security officers, to make sure that we are dotting our I's and crossing our T's to protect these young people so that they can go to school in safety and learn.
But during midday mass here in Austin,
this really hits home hard.
Just a few hours after this shooting, the message not about politics or evil, instead about leaning into faith and compassion.
Compassion is defined as suffering with. And so this is an opportunity for us, even though we may not know any of the students or the faculty or the administration there, but our hearts do hurt with them, and we're suffering with them through this tragic moment.
Grace Reeder, KXAN News.
The Austin Police Department told us it is monitoring the incident in Minnesota and continuing to work with state and federal partners. APD said, quote, "At this time, there are no known threats to the Austin community. APD will have increased patrols around places of worship. We always ask our community to be vigilant. It is imperative to call 911 if you observe any suspicious activities or become aware of potential threats." Online right now, the search for the Stop Mass Shootings project from KXAN investigators. This special area includes updates on the Uvalde shooting at Robb Elementary, stories on gun regulations and mental health, even tracking suspicious activity and social media's impact. Check it out on KXAN.com.
Tiny bits of plastic are in our lakes. Now, these are microplastics. They're smaller than a millimeter, and they can make their way into wildlife and even human cells.
And new research from the University of Texas and the city of Austin is shedding some light on their role in the Highland Lakes, revealing a potential danger beneath the surface. KXAN senior science reporter Eric Henriksen shows us the results.
Beneath the glassy surface of Lady Bird Lake, thousands of tiny bits of plastic.
It's pretty scary.
Danielle Zaleski spent the last few years at UT counting.
I usually start with the tire and road wear particles.
The detritus of human civilization.
These are the fibers and fragments. I have to count these by hand.
Microplastics are created when plastic breaks down. They're found all over the world, and the health impacts are still unknown.
There's no reason to expect microplastics not to be in all of our waterways.
Brent Bellinger with the City of Austin proposed the joint project with UT back in 2022. The 2 groups collected samples of the lake bed and then analyzed them in a lab.
What we saw was just kind of the overwhelming abundance of tire and road particles in the samples.
Danielle's research looked at 2 of our local lakes, Lady Bird Lake and Lake Austin. The densest samples of microplastics were found here on Lady Bird Lake, right below I-35. Danielle used medical software to count this abundance.
It even had so many that we can't count it because our filters are so filled with microplastics and roadware particles.
Danielle, now a graduate student at UT, said Lady Bird Lake had more microplastics than Lake Austin. The city plans to use this data to better protect the watershed.
It's just another one of those things that shows just how pervasive and how much we impact our environment.
An impact hidden by beauty and passed over with little thought. In Austin, Eric Hendrickson, KXAN News.
So the report on microplastics in lakes will be completed soon. It's expected to be presented by the end of the year. Going in depth right now, a few years ago, the University of Texas at Austin created an enzyme variant that can break down plastics in just hours or days. So the enzyme can break down plastics into smaller parts and then spit out recycled new plastics. Check out this time lapse of the enzymes in action. You can see this piece of plastic reduced to nothing. This was in just 48 hours. According to UT Austin, the enzyme has the potential to eliminate billions of tons of waste in Texas landfills. Debate on the Texas House floor got a bit heated this morning over ivermectin.
Not today, Satan. I move to table.
It's a drug used to treat parasite infections in humans and animals, but it became popular during the pandemic as some people started using it to try and treat COVID. The Texas House approved a bill that allows pharmacists to dispense the drug without a prescription from a doctor. Republicans in the House argue this bill will increase medical freedom in Texas, but Democrats worry people could harm themselves without direction from a doctor.
It's so important that we allow our citizens discretion to use the medicines they want and allow them, to be able to take care of their own health needs.
Risks of use of any prescription drug, including ivermectin, have side effects when combined with other drugs. A pharmacist likely will not know that. A doctor will absolutely know that.
The Food and Drug Administration warns there is no evidence ivermectin can treat COVID-19 effectively. The agency also warns the drug can interact with other medications like blood thinners. The bill will now move to the Senate. Something that's rising alongside Hays County's population is the price of groceries, and that in part has led to a more food insecure region.
But a nonprofit dedicated to keeping people full just got a major upgrade. Our Sam Stark explains.
We could not be more excited to be opening this building. So this is the market.
Hays County Food Bank Executive Director Lisa Young gives us a tour of their new facility, loaded with cans of food, drinks, and much more.
We also have produce here, meat and refrigerated items, and people can take 80 pounds of groceries at their once-a-month appointment.
It's set up like a supermarket, a novel approach for a food bank facility, Young says.
People can come in here like a little country store and pick out their groceries. And it has been wonderful to see people's reaction to that element of it.
The old facility was only 2,200 square feet and more difficult to access. This one is 8,000 square feet on Interstate 35 and a bus route. And the new building comes at a time when many more people are needing it.
Challenging times right now, and as you go to the distribution sites, you can see the lines getting larger, and you see people that you've never seen before, so the need is definitely growing.
Central Texas Food Bank, the Hays County Food Bank distributor, told us they expect to serve 610,000 people this year. That's 80,000 more people than what it had initially forecast. In an email, the food bank told us children impacted by food insecurity is now at 1 in 4, and neighbors overall are at 1 in 5.
Housing costs have gone up tremendously, medication costs have gone up. All of that compounds and compounds, and we're here to stand in the gap.
In Hays County, Sam Stark, KXAN News.
And the Central Texas Food Bank's annual Dine Out, Do Good campaign is starting in just a few days. During this initiative from August 29th to September 14th, a portion of the meals purchased at 100 participating Austin restaurants will be donated to the food bank. For a little insight into food price trends, the USDA reports that overall food prices increased by 0.2%, up almost 3% from the same time last year, and the agency says prices are climbing in correlation with inflation. To be specific here, grocery items purchased for food at home saw only a 0.1 increase between June and July, and then went up 2% compared to last summer. While fast food and restaurant prices went up by 0.3% from June to July and increased about 4% from the same time last year.